In the quiet town of Carston, a name whispers on the wind. Gillian Gold, 2013. A summer that vanished along with her. No trace, no answers, just the lingering questions that haunt those left behind. The Search for Gillian Gold, a podcast that delves into the heart of a mystery, a disappearance that gripped a community and still, years later, remains unsolved. Was it a tragic accident, a calculated escape, or something far more sinister? Join us as we sift through forgotten testimonies, uncover hidden clues, and speak to the people who knew Gillian best. Every episode brings us closer to the truth. The Search for Gillian Gold. Search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
In the quiet corners of the internet, where whispers of unsolved mysteries linger, one name echoes with a peculiar blend of admiration and unease. Gillian Gold, a journalist, an enigma, and a woman who vanished into thin air. This is A Search for Gillian Gold, a podcast dedicated to unravelling the mystery surrounding Gillian Gold's disappearance. In 2013, while investigating strange lights over the unassuming town of Carston, she vanished. She was 25 years old, leaving only questions and a legacy that continues to baffle those who knew her and those who only knew of her. Gillian Gold was not your typical journalist. She was a force of nature, a digital phantom, a self-styled Banksy of journalism. Before the internet was flooded with citizen journalists, she was already using its anonymity to expose hidden truths. So, who is Gillian? And what do we know about her? Well, little is known about her childhood. What we do know is she was born and raised in the Midlands. Unfortunately, both her parents are dead now, and she has no known relatives. But according to her LinkedIn profile, Gillian found her calling at Loughborough University, where she studied journalism. So following the lead left by Gillian on her LinkedIn profile about her studying journalism, we contacted Loughborough University to ask about her time there. But like everything with Gillian, it's not that simple. After 5 days, we heard back from Loughborough University, but unfortunately they could find no record of a Gillian Gold having studied journalism during the period that she states in the LinkedIn profile. In fact, there was no record of a Gillian Gold ever studying at Loughborough University. So we decided to place a discreet advert on various internet blogs that we knew Gillian was part of, and to see if anything came up. It was after 2 weeks that we received an email from an ex-lecturer at Loughborough University, and they recalled that one student used to sign off their work with the name Gillian Gold. The lecturer, whose name we shall keep hidden, states that this student even then was unconventional in her approach to journalism.
Gillian was driven. She had this almost obsessive need to uncover what was hidden. She wasn't interested in press releases or official statements. She wanted the real story, the raw truth. And she wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty.
It seems getting her hands dirty was an understatement. Gillian's Banksy persona involved anonymous exposés, leaked documents, and cleverly crafted digital interventions. She'd target corporations, politicians, or anyone she deemed to be operating in the shadows, Her work was often controversial, but undeniably effective. One of Gillian's most famous operations involved exposing a major environmental scandal, using leaked internal memos and a series of anonymous online posts that gradually revealed the company's wrongdoing. She never claimed credit, she simply vanished, leaving the truth to speak for itself. In 2013, Gillian's focus shifted. She became fixated on a series of unexplained lights seen over the small, seemingly ordinary town of Carston, a town nestled in the rolling hills of the English countryside. At this time, Gillian was working for a national newspaper. Sarah Jenkins was Gillian's editor at the time, and she recalls,
"I never actually met Gillian in the flesh. We would meet online. She would keep the video feed hidden, or if she wanted to contact me, she would use a burner phone. Her number would change constantly. She was quite careful about revealing her true identity."
Carston, a place where time seemed to move slower, where life was lived in the rhythm of the seasons. But something was disrupting that rhythm. Strange lights, flickering and dancing in the night sky. Lights that defied explanation.
They weren't like anything I'd ever seen. They moved strangely, like they were alive, and they were silent. No sound at all, just light.
Gillian arrived in Carston drawn by the reports, by the mystery. She began interviewing locals, digging into their stories, trying to find a pattern, a connection. She spent hours under the night sky, watching and waiting. She was meticulous, driven. She kept detailed notes, recorded interviews, took photographs. But then, she vanished, just like the lights she was chasing. She simply disappeared. The Search for Gillian Gold was written and presented by Stuart Wheeldon. It is produced by Nine Ladies Productions. The theme music is UFO Experimental by Bruno Magic. Search for Gillian Gold, Episode 1, Vanishing Act. Welcome to the Search for Gillian Gold, and I'm your host, Stuart Wheeldon. Gillian Gold was a force, a journalist with a nose for the truth, and a voice that wouldn't be silenced. In June of 2023, Gillian vanished without a trace. Her disappearance is a mystery that haunted the small town of Carston and left her colleagues, friends and family in a state of agonising limbo. Gillian was in Carston, investigating a series of strange occurrences. Unexplained lights in the sky, and whispers of unusual activity at the old Blackwood Observatory. Locals were calling it the Carston Lights, and Gillian, ever the sceptic, was determined to find the truth. But the truth, it seems, might have been more dangerous than she ever imagined. Carston is a town steeped in folklore. It's nestled in a remote valley, is a place where stories of the supernatural mingle with the mundane. Gillian, however, was a woman of logic. She believed there was a rational explanation for everything. Her last known communication was a voicemail message left for her editor, Sarah Jenkins.
Sarah, it's Gillian. I think I'm onto something big here in Carston. These lights, they're not just lights. There's something else. Something unsettling. I'm going out to the Blackwood Observatory tonight. I'll update you tomorrow, but if you don't hear from me...
Sarah reported Gillian missing the next day. The police investigation yielded nothing. No witnesses, no leads, no sign of Gillian. Her car was found abandoned next to the entrance of the Blackwood Observatory, the keys still in the ignition. Her notebook containing her research on the Carston lights was gone. We've obtained a copy of the police report. It's surprisingly brief. Missing person, no evidence of foul play. Foul play? Gillian Gold wouldn't just disappear. She was meticulous, organised and dedicated to her work. Something happened at the Blackwood Observatory that night. In this podcast we're going to go back to Carston. We're going to go talk to the locals and examine Gillian's research and revisit the events leading to her disappearance. We're going to search for Gillian Gold. We won't stop until we find answers. Imagine a life dedicated to words, to uncovering the hidden, to making sense of the world. Then imagine that life simply stopped. In 2013, Gillian Gold, a journalist known for her tenacity and insightful reporting, disappeared without a trace. This is the search for Gillian Gold, a journey into the shadows of a vanishing, a search for answers, and a remembrance of a woman whose voice was silenced too soon.
Those lights, they've been here for years. Some say they're visitors, others say they're something worse.
Martha, like many residents, spoke of a long history of strange occurrences in Carston. Not just the lights, but also unexplained disappearances, livestock mutilations, and whispers of strange rituals in the surrounding woods. Another resident, a man named Daniel, offered a more modern perspective.
Look, I'm not saying I believe all the crazy stories, but I've seen things I can't explain. One night, I was driving home late, and this light had just appeared right in front of my car. I slammed on the brakes, and it just hovered there, silent, for what felt like forever. Then, it was gone.
Daniel's account echoes many others we heard. The lights are described as silent, often appearing suddenly and vanishing just as quickly. Some witnesses report a feeling of unease, a sense of being watched. We visited the Blackwood Observatory, the last place where Gillian was known to be. It's a crumbling structure, perched on a hill overlooking the town. The observatory has now been closed for decades, its once powerful telescope now rusted and useless. Inside, the air is thick with dust and there's a sense of decay. We looked around for about 15 minutes and didn't find much, just a discarded coffee cup and a crumpled map of the area. But then, in the corner, there was a note. It was difficult to decipher, but one phrase did stand out. The pattern. They're connected. The pattern. They're connected. What pattern? Was this a note left by Gillian? And if so, what is it referring to? The lights? The disappearances? The strange stories maybe that permeate Carston's history? Something that someone or something wanted to keep hidden. Our investigation is just beginning, but next time we'll delve into the history of the Blackwood Observatory and explore the rumours of its connection to the strange phenomena in Carston. We'll also examine Gillian's notes in more detail, searching for clues that might lead us to the truth. So join me next time on the search for Gillian Gold. The answers are out there, shrouded in darkness. The Search for Gillian Gold was presented by Stuart Wheeldon. The music is UFO Experimental by Bruno Magic. Welcome back to the Search for Gillian Gold. Last time we explored the disturbing history of the Blackwood Observatory and the cryptic journals of its founder, Elias Blackwood. We discovered his obsession with celestial alignments and his belief in opening portals to other dimensions. This week we're delving into the shadowy underbelly of Carston, exploring the rumours of a secret society known as the Carston Circle, a group whispered to have ties to Blackwood and his experiments, a group that may still be operating in the shadows. Our research has uncovered fragmented accounts of the Carston Circle, dating back to the early 20th century, around the same time Blackwood was conducting his experiments. Locals describe them as a secretive group, composed of prominent families in Carston, who meet in secluded locations and perform strange rituals. We've managed to compile a partial list of these families, names that echo through Carston's history. The Athertons, the Claytons and the Vancers, names that carry weight and influence, even today. We spoke with a former resident of Carston who wished to remain anonymous about her experiences with the Carston Circle.
They were always different. The way they looked at you, like they knew something you didn't. My family, we weren't from Carston originally, we were outsiders, and they made sure we knew it. I remember once I accidentally stumbled upon one of their meetings. It was in the woods, near the old Blackwood estate. They were wearing robes, chanting. It was terrifying. I ran, and I never looked back. But I saw something else, a symbol, glowing faintly in the darkness. It was like the air itself was lit up, outlining this shape. It wasn't just painted or carved, it was embedded.
Sarah's account adds another disturbing detail, a glowing symbol. Not simply drawn, but seemingly integrated into the very fabric of the air. This aligns with other, more recent accounts we've gathered. Some have reported seeing fleeting, shimmering shapes in the woods, especially during the Carston Lights phenomena. We've discovered that Gillian, in her research, was also investigating the Carston Circle. Her notes contain several references to a group, among with names and symbols that we're still trying to decipher. One symbol, a stylised circle with a triangle inside, appears repeatedly in Gillian's notes, as well as in Blackwood's journals. We've also found this symbol etched into the walls of the Blackwood Observatory. Could this be the symbol of the Carston Circle? And what does it mean? Our research into ancient symbology suggests a connection to esoteric traditions and the worship of celestial bodies, specifically the alignment of certain constellations during specific solstices and equinoxes. We consulted Dr. Eleanor Vance, an historian specialising in occult societies. She pointed us towards a possible link to pre-Christian Celtic rituals, which often involved circles and triangles representing the earth, the sky and the spirit. But she also warned us, these symbols can be twisted, corrupted, used for purposes far removed from their original intent.
The circle and triangle motif is deeply embedded in Celtic symbolism. The circle, in its most basic form, represents the cyclical nature of existence, the eternal return, the wheel of the year. It's the boundary, the sacred space. The triangle, often pointed upwards, is associated with the triplicity of the cosmos, earth, sky, and the spirit realm. It's also linked to specific deities, often those connected to wisdom and prophecy. In Celtic rituals, these symbols were used to create sacred enclosures, to channel energies, to commune with the other world. They were not merely decorative, they were functional, tools for manipulating the unseen. Now, the specific configuration we're seeing A triangle within a circle suggests a focus on the integration of these realms. It implies an attempt to bring the celestial or spiritual into the earthly sphere. This could be interpreted as a desire for enlightenment, a quest for higher knowledge. But as with any powerful symbol, it can be perverted. History is full of examples of sacred symbols being twisted for darker purposes. Consider the cult of Mithras, a mystery religion that spread throughout the Roman Empire. They adopted many symbols from earlier cultures, including solar and celestial motifs, but they used them in ways that emphasized hierarchy, control, and the attainment of personal power. The same can happen with Celtic symbols. A circle meant to protect can become a prison. A triangle meant to elevate can become a weapon. And that's the danger here. These symbols, particularly within the context of the Karsten Circle and the Blackwood Observatory, suggest a deliberate attempt to harness and control powerful forces. Blackwood's obsession with celestial alignments, combined with the circle's rituals, points towards a desire to manipulate the very fabric of reality. The symbols are not just representations, they are active components of their rituals. They are keys, codes, tools. And if they've been corrupted, if they're being used for purposes far removed from their original intent, the consequences could be catastrophic.
Dr. Vance's words echoed with a chilling sense of historical precedent. The symbols, far from being benign relics of a forgotten past, were potentially active agents in a dangerous game. The Karsten Circle, armed with these corrupted symbols and Blackwood's dark knowledge, could be on the verge of unleashing something truly terrifying. We've also discovered a series of coded messages in Gillian's notes. They appear to be dates and times, possibly related to the appearance of the Karsten lights. We're working with a cryptographer to decode these messages, hoping they will shed light on the connection between the Karsten Circle, the lights, and Gillian's disappearance. One date, June the 21st, 2023, the summer solstice, is highlighted in Gillian's notes. This was just days before she disappeared. Was she planning to attend the Karsten Circle ritual? Did she know something that put her in danger? We've also noticed a reoccurring phrase in her notes. The convergence. What is the convergence? And why was she so focused on it? The Search for Gillian Gold is written and presented by Stuart Wheeldon. The music is UFO Experimental by Bruno Magic.